Welcome to One Brothas Mind, and I am KD Smooth. Today we will question and challenge popular information and views from a B1 perspective, while we expose the real facts you need. We do this to strengthen your logical, critical, and discerning thinking skills. Because in today's world, hard choices are mandatory and they come with consequences. So you need all the information. And at One Brothas Mind, we do this from a B1 Yeshua the Christ follower's perspective. Now, if you're not ready, you better get ready with KD Smooth at One Brothas Mind. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's KD Smooth coming back at you with a new report. I pray you all are doing well. Shalom, family. Family, y'all seen the thumbnail. The hits just keep on coming. Once again, we have another report of another black person being deleted by the police. This one out of LA, Los Angeles, California. But before we get into this, family, please remember to smash the like button. Smash the like button if you appreciate our content here at One Brothas Mind. And make sure you share this report on all your social media with all your peoples. And be sure to be subscribed to One Brothas Mind, where we try to bring you the information and facts you need. First off, family, to begin, my condolences out to the Lowe family. I'm so tired of doing these reports. I'm so tired of seeing this. But my condolences out to his family and friends, Mr. Anthony Lowe, L-O-W-E. Yeah, let's get into it, family. Real quick, this is a actually pretty recent breaking news story that has come out. I'm going to share with you guys a video clip of what's being reported thus far, and then we're going to chop it up on it in regards to the information that is out thus far. And then we'll go into it. But for those that don't know, Mr. Anthony Lowe, a double amputee with a knife in Los Angeles, was shot in the back while officers were attempting to arrest him. That's what occurred. So real quick, I'm going to share with you this report, and then we're going to come back and we're going to chop it up on this issue here. Here we go.
The family of Anthony Lowe says he was struggling after recently losing both his legs, but they say he was a loving son and a loving father of two, and they're now demanding answers. Cell phone video that doesn't provide clear answers. You can hear the shots fired by police that killed double amputee Anthony Lowe, but you can't see him. Seconds later, he's on his stomach being handcuffed. At a news conference, his family says he was shot in the back, and because he had just lost both his legs, was no threat to the heavily armed Huntington Park police officers.
They murdered my son in a wheelchair with no legs. So they do need to do something about it. Because I want justice for my son.
Police say they were called out to Slauson Avenue last Thursday because Lowe had jumped out of his wheelchair and stabbed someone unprovoked, leaving that person in critical condition. You can see a large knife in his hand in this video. He runs from police and officers use tasers, but then an SUV blocks the view. Police say Lowe threatened to advance and throw his knife at them.
He's running on his limb. How cold-hearted could they be? This is my twin. We did everything together. and they took everything from me.
The Huntington Park Police Department says the officers are now on paid administrative leave and referred all questions about the case to the LA County Sheriff's Department, which is now investigating, along with the DA's office. But the family wants the Attorney General to step in.
The Los Angeles Sheriff's has their own house to get in order before they try to investigate any other departments.
It's not clear if there's body camera footage, but on the cell phone video, you can make out security cameras. There are also cars with drivers who may have seen what happened. Now, we know that there are other cell phone videos out there, and the family is calling on the Huntington Park Police to release whatever footage they have gathered thus far. The city of Huntington Beach and the police department put out a press release saying they are committed to transparency, but also asking for the public's patience as this investigation is carried out. Live in Huntington Park, I'm Christy Fajardo. Let's send it back.
Okay, family. You guys seen the report? Yeah. A double amputee with a knife. Mr. Anthony Lowe. Yeah. Okay. Also, just real quick, I may do an additional story because there's a completely different story that is pretty new that I just came across recently, and I may do a story about it. But of the police shooting a black man that was laying on the ground, and at the time they shot him, he was unarmed. Apparently, he may have been trying to run away from officers or what have you, and he may have had a gun. And he basically fell to the ground. His gun that he had, he dropped and fell in front of him, several feet in front of him. So at that time, he was no longer armed, but the police unloaded on him anyway. So look for that story. I may do a story on that, but okay, Mr. Anthony Lowe. As you guys saw in the report, there's a double amputee. You could literally, yes, you could see basically a big kitchen butcher knife in his hand. Okay, so let's look at least some of the information that they have released thus far. The report that you heard said that the police were literally attempting to arrest him because he had reportedly stabbed someone the week before, and the media here specifically said the stabbing was unprovoked. That's one possibility. That's one possibility. Can't rule that out. But family, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Oftentimes, when you have someone who has a physical disability, especially if they're out on these streets for whatever reason, good or bad, they could be just going back and forth to work. You know, whatever the case may be, oftentimes people with physical disabilities are attacked, assaulted, mugged, terrorized, threatened, you name it. Okay? And therefore, oftentimes people with physical disabilities, at the very least, will try to have some sort of weapon or on them for self-defense, to defend themselves if someone is going to threaten him. Okay? So, I mean, that's kind of typical. So for the report to be that he had stabbed someone the week before, and according to mainstream media, unprovoked, I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. It could have happened because he could be going through or been going through some psychological problems, because he said he recently lost both of his legs. So there could have been some psychological issues going there, but I'm sorry, family. I'm just not buying this. He's just out here, a double amputee, assaulting and attacking other people. Because if you really think of it, family, just take a moment and think about it. You got a double amputee. So let's say he has a knife. You can see it clearly on the video. Say he had a knife the week before. And let's say he had decided, say he was having some psychological trouble, he was in mental distress, whatever you want to call it. And he's a double amputee. So he decides he's going to attack someone else with a knife. All that other person had to do was walk away. Just walk away. And the threat's over. This is a double amputee, most likely in a wheelchair at the time. But in the video you can see he was not in the wheelchair. But at the time of the attack that was reported the previous week, most likely was in a wheelchair. Again, if someone in a wheelchair, unless it's souped up some kind of way, if someone in a wheelchair or that has a physical disability threatens you or seems to want to attack you, all you really got to do is walk away. And at the maximum, just jog off, just jog a little bit away. And nothing, the threat is over. Nothing happens. That's why I don't buy this story. The only way a person with a knife that's a double amputee, the only other way they can actually harm someone or stab someone is if they catch somebody while they're asleep or unconscious in some way, not aware, just completely by surprise, where they're not moving or capable of moving. Outside of that, I'm not buying it. Now, this is early reports. There hopefully will be more information that will come out about the reported stabbing the week prior, because that's important information that I think needs to be understood. With that said, in the video report that you saw, you literally have 3 cops, 3 police officers attempting to apprehend and arrest a double amputee man with a knife, a kitchen knife, the big ones, right? And as you saw in the video, they're walking with their arms or whatnot out, pointed at him, right behind him. He's a double amputee. He is not going to be able to escape them while they are walking. So that's not an issue. In addition to that, again, these are police officers that are supposed to be trained to apprehend and arrest people. Right? They arrest people, especially a lot of our white brothers and sisters who have knives. They arrest them all the time without deleting them. Happens all the time. But for whatever reason, these cops were incapable. These trained officers were incapable of apprehending and arresting a double amputee man with a knife. I mean, just let that sink in. These trained officers, they had a taser, which reportedly they used or attempted to use. They had batons. Of course, they had their arms. They had pepper spray. And of course, their training to apprehend and arrest. But they chose, out of all those options, they chose to use their firearms. Let that sink in. That was the solution to apprehend and arrest Mr. Lowe. That was they decided that was their best case scenario. That was their best option. That's what they needed to do. Family, I could have, without training, just as is today, I could have apprehended and arrested Mr. Lowe by myself without their training. Regardless of whether he has this knife or not, I could have done that. And Mr. Lowe would be at worst in jail, going through the process, but alive. Me, just by myself. It was 3 officers out here, so-called trained to apprehend and arrest, and their solution was to use their firearm. That was their best option. Oh, let me guess. They felt their lives were in danger from a double amputee with a knife attempting to walk away. A double amputee. Matter of fact, here you go, one more time. Hold on, just take a look at this. One more time.
But the family wants the Attorney General.
This is a threat to their lives, to the point to where they felt they needed to use deadly force. Let me back that up, just real quick. Focus in, family.
DA's office.
This man is a threat to their lives.
The Los Angeles Sheriff's has their own house to get in order.
One more time. This man was a threat
along with the
to
DA's office,
their lives.
but the family wants the Attorney General to step in.
Enough for them to use their firearms as the solution. They could have, it's 3 of them. They could have used their baton and literally, they could have, they're walking behind him. He's a double amputee. Why didn't they encircle him, which would have really been very easy to do, so he can't, get away from their circle and just keep slowly making the circle smaller and smaller. Okay, Mr. Lowe, okay, we got to arrest you. Put the knife down, drop the knife, And you got say all of them got their batons out. And the first one that's close enough to Mr. Lowe in the arm and hand that he had the knife in, just take the baton and strike his arm. If they struck his arm that had the hand that was holding the knife, 9 times out of 10, he's going to drop that knife because his arm had been struck with a baton. Okay, now he no longer has the knife. It's 3 officers with a double amputee person who now has been disarmed. Oh, y'all can literally... Really? Really? I mean, come on. Really? All they gotta do is walk up on him and grab him at that point. He's not going anywhere. He really can't resist you. Okay. Say no baton. How about pepper spray? Give that a try. If he balls up or curls up to try to shield himself away from being pepper sprayed, guess what that means? That means at the time that he is balled up or curled up, the knife that he has in his hand is no longer an imminent threat because he's covering. Or you've actually been successful at pepper spraying him. So now he can't see. Not only is he a double amputee, but his eyes are burning and his vision is jacked up from the pepper spray. Those are the 2 outcomes. In either event, trained officers at that point should be able to easily apprehend and arrest him. And if of course the pepper spray was successful, immediately render aid to rinse his eyes out and follow the protocol from that point on. But he would still be alive. So, baton, okay, the taser, apparently, according to the reports, they attempted the taser, but either that didn't work or it didn't land properly. Okay, what's stopping you from making additional attempts with the taser? What's preventing you from doing that? He is a double amputee. He's not going nowhere. He's incapable of evading you. Can't run away. But they choose their firearm. Like I said, police all day long, every day, arrest people who have knives or are wielding knives alive. And again, family, just on the note of the report of him so-called unprovoked stabbing someone the week before, and that's the whole reason why the police were coming to arrest him. Again, like I said, I don't buy that story because people with physical disabilities oftentimes are threatened, attacked, mugged, robbed, assaulted, and at the very least they're significantly threatened, And out of fear, they decide I got to have something to defend myself because I can't get away from, if someone does try to attack me, he can't get away. So one of the first options is to have some sort of weapon like a knife or something on you because you can't get away for self-defense. So what's the deal with this person the week before that he reportedly, allegedly stabbed? What occurred? Just out of the blue, unprovoked? That's not family. That's not typical. Not that it can't happen. Not that it wasn't a possibility. That's just not typical. People with physical disabilities, especially as long as they're still in their right mind, they know they are at a disadvantage. So they're not necessarily looking to start problem. So I don't buy nothing with the story about what occurred the week before. I don't buy none of that. Hopefully more will come out, but family, I said this on the previous report with our brother Tyree Nichols. At some point on some day, when black people decide to start defending our lives, then what? Not that it hasn't already begun or happened before, but it's going to happen on video. Whether it's the black person that the police are attempting to so-called arrest, beat up, threaten, whatever you want to call it, or it's someone nearby or others nearby that finally say enough is enough. If there were other black people near this incident and they see what's going on and they see the officers pull their guns out, and that's what they have pointed at Mr. Lowe. At some point, if and when black people in the surrounding area decide, no, man, why are y'all, they see you. Okay, let me run it again. They see this.
Family wants the Attorney General.
They see that. They're watching it. And they see these guys got their guns out. They're like, no, that's not necessary. They are trying to delete this man. And we're not going to stand by and watch it happen no more. At some point, at some day, when that occurs on video, then what? That's my question. Then what? Because these officers, they're not really paying attention to what necessarily is going on behind them. They got all their focus on Mr. Lowe, who can't escape them. You know, that's where all their focus is. So if the community decided, nah, man, put your guns up. And they kept telling them, put your guns down. That's not necessary. And they refused. Then what? If the community decides to move forward and take action to prevent the deletion of Mr. Lowe or whoever, just no different than with George Floyd. The whole community was out there, standing there watching it, but did not act. What I'm suggesting to you, family, is the day is going to come where black people in the community witnessing some of these things as they're happening are going to begin to respond in self-defense. It's inevitable. It is inevitable. It may take a while longer, but I'm telling you, family, it is inevitable. You cannot continue this treatment, this brutality, these deletions forever with no response. It's coming. And my question is, then what? Oh, if the community responds and stops the officers, or if it turns out the officers are the ones that get unalived, then what? Yeah. Family, I was afraid of, what's happened thus far this year in the country. Y'all know, with everything else already going on, I was afraid of it. But as you see, the number one target is still so-called black people, or black community. Things are happening to other people too, but we are still the number one target. Family, this year, in my opinion here at One Brothas Mind, this year could be a year that absolutely erupts. I don't know, I can't say erupts in what way. I mean, erupts in a way that's beyond protesting. Something else. Because black people have figured that out decades ago. Protesting doesn't do much. It doesn't stop what's happening. So many black people are basically of the mindset, okay, now what? And self-defense, every day, every report, every time one of these things are happening, it's becoming more and more an option. So to the world, to everybody who needs to hear it, be careful. Be very careful. Because the day is coming where so-called black people are going to start defending ourselves in these situations. And it's going to change everything. So again, family, please hit the like button, share this report on all your social media with all your peoples, And be sure to be subscribed to One Brothas Mind, where we try to bring you the information and facts you need. Let's chop it up on this in the comment. I mean, y'all let me know what y'all think of this story. What y'all well, you know what? I already know what y'all think. Especially if you so-called black person, I pretty much already know what y'all think. But let me know what y'all think. Is the day coming sooner that black people start deciding to defend our lives in these situations? Is that day, you know, how soon do you think that day is coming? I mean, literally on camera. It's gonna, and that's the other thing with the body cam stuff is good. It's cool, but most of the time, and the police know this, with the body cameras, if there's like a scuffle or tussle going on, you can't see nothing with no body cam. Only if there's, another camera that's further away in view, or if maybe one of the officers with the body camera is standing a couple feet away from whatever's happening, can you make out what's happening? But most of the time, I mean, trust me, the officers are being trained. If y'all got y'all body cams, get on, participate in the rough up, in the beat down, get up close, because you can't make out what's really happening. And then while you're doing that, keep yelling all kind of alibi stuff. Stop resisting. He's trying to grab my weapon. He's giving your arms. Y'all know how this gets going. So again, let's chop it up in the comments. Do y'all think that a point is going to come or soon to come where black people actually start defending our lives in these situations? I'm really curious. I would really like to know what y'all think. So drop it in the comments. And this concludes this broadcast for One Brothas Mind. We thank you for joining us. And as a part of the new black media, B1 choices are mandatory and being on code is required. But never fear, Yeshua the Christ is with you always. Shalom.